Friends, thank you very much. Thanks for being here tonight, and thanks for staying the course on the struggles we're all in at the present time, because it's been a very interesting few months, indeed year. Think back after the general election, how depressed we were at the general election result, and how determined all of us were that the Labour movement should offer a real alternative to Tory policies, real alternative on cuts, on austerity, on growing inequality within our society. And I think one of the turning points of the leadership hustings, debates and campaign last year was that massive anti-austerity rally that was held outside the House of Parliament just 1 year ago. And since then, you know what happened. The huge rallies, debates, hustings, meetings that we held brought together a lot of people. Older people that had become disillusioned with the way in which politics was run. Younger people that became enthused at the idea that politics could be done differently. And we were elected then as leadership of the Labour Party. And I'm very proud of that. The important turning point has been the economic policies put forward. And I want to say a huge thank you to John McDonnell for being appointed as our formulated an economic strategy which is an economy that doesn't leave a significant proportion of the population living in poverty and inequality and in destitution, but instead an economy that works to assist, support and ensure the most marginalised people get included and get developed. And challenging the tax havens, the tax write-off, the tax evasion, challenging the lack of investment in our economy, challenging the way in which traditional economics has been conducted. What we're witnessing in Britain and across Europe and across the USA is a change, a fundamental political change. Those of you that are old enough to remember the late 1970s and early 1980s will remember Reagan coming to power in the United States, the IMF imposing cuts in Britain, the whole idea that economic development was roll back the role of the state, adopt trickle-down economics, so the super rich become even richer on the basis that they might spend a little bit of money that would develop down to the poorest. So we've had more than 30 years of this narrative that somehow or other the way forward economically is to roll back the community, roll back the provision that goes with it, and allow greater inequality to develop. Where this has been experimented on, in Pinochet's Chile in the 1970s, all over Latin America in the 1980s, and in many cases in parts of Africa where structural adjustment programs were enforced upon them. That is the economic history that we've all been taught is the way forward. But a lot of people are totally fed up with that. A lot of young people ask the question, why should somebody of my generation say to a young person, I'm really sorry for you, you know. I got free education, sorry you don't. I got free healthcare, sorry you don't. I've got a good pension, sorry you haven't. Restructure our economy and restructure our approach to all of those things. And that is what we've begun to do in only the last 10 months that we've had available for us to do it. So I thank John for his work on that. I thank Diane for her work on international development, where she started challenging this whole private sector investment narrative into the poorest countries in the world, and instead started looking at levels of global inequality. And now she's taken on health, which is absolutely central to everything that we believe in. So we now go through into another leadership contest. We're launching tomorrow morning, and it's going to be all over the country. That campaign is going to be about the economic policies we want. It is about inclusion of everyone in our society, and it is about the kind of world we want to live in. The kind of world where we either ignore the environmental consequences of what we do, or a world where we continue with an economic strategy that further widens the gap between the richest and the poorest, that further forces young people into deeper and deeper debt because they wanted to pursue further and higher education, and a deregulated labour market, which means less or shorter holidays, 0 hours contracts, and all the issues that go with that. Or we offer something different. The idea that a collective force in society, a collective grouping working in communities, can challenge the housing shortage, can challenge the inadequacy of public services in so many parts of this country, and can give hope, inspiration and enthusiasm to the next generation. The next generation that will, I hope, be better off than this generation. And that we don't pursue the policies of attacking the most vulnerable. We chase down, oppose and defeat. Exist in this country and have grown since the referendum result, and exist all across Europe, somehow or other run on the narrative that the greatest problem are migrant workers. Sorry, the greatest problem is the grotesque levels of exploitation of workers in this country. Doing things together. It is about our strength within society. And it's also about the way that we conduct ourselves politically. Now, you may have noticed that I've received 1 or 2 criticisms over the last year. I don't really have time to read all of those, I'm very busy. But it's quite important that we don't reply in the same terms, because I'm not going to get in the gutter with anybody. Of us should either. It is about the kind of world we want to create. So, we develop an economic strategy, we develop an environmental strategy, we develop a health strategy that ensures we have the great Labour tradition of a health service free at the point of use as a human right, and we also reach out to improve and extend mental health services and create a society and an environment and a culture that recognises that those going through mental health trauma are just like you and just like me, and could be going through it in themselves. Another event in North London tonight, and I guess I'm going to have quite a busy couple of months ahead of me, and I'm looking forward to that. I want to say thank you all for coming. I want to say this. When we do things together... When we do things together, our ideas cross-fertilise. We're stronger because of it. We learn from each other. And we learn from the history of our movement. Those people that stood in this very hall, supporting the Spanish Republic against the fascists. Those people that stood in this hall, those people that used this hall, this very hall, as a place to develop new and exciting ideas about community provision of health, about public sector provision of housing, about employment rights, about justice. This hall was a place where those ideas could be heard, could be debated, and could be discussed. We now have social media as a way of communicating with each other, which was never available to many other generations. We have all those things at our disposal. When we do things together, we're incredibly strong and incredibly powerful, and we can overcome some very, very strong
and formidable forces. That basic humanity, that basic collectivism, those basic human rights that we hold so strong and so dear. So let's use this summit as an opportunity to bring in even more people on that great collective agenda. All of us that have the privilege and honour to serve in public positions, because we've been put there by people who want us to serve, are eternally grateful for the decency, friendship, advice, constructive criticism, help and support that we've been given from tens of thousands of people all across this country. That is what makes our movement different. That is what makes our movement special. That is what gives real hope, real opportunity and real chances for the next generation that will be denied if we go down the arid road of rolling back the state, conventional economics and grotesque levels of inequality within our society. Thank you very much.